He had drugs in the car. There were guns in the car. Okay, so I'm going to be telling quite the story today. So first, I just want to say that the reason I want to tell this story is because I remember when I was younger, being a teenager, especially being a gay teenager, it's just really difficult to, kind of come to terms with everything and just feel like normal. So I just remember when I was younger, I used to watch a whole bunch of coming out videos, and it would just be kind of comforting to know that there's other people exactly like me. And whether the story was good or bad, it was just kind of nice to know that I wasn't alone. And when I knew in my head at least that, I felt like my family would be okay with it, but it's kind of just actually admitting it and saying it, that's the scary part. So my story is kind of interesting. It was kind of a 2-day debacle for me. And just want to preface. Hey Siri, how do you say preface?
Sure, translate into which language? Arabic, German, Spanish, French, Italian.
So I just want to state that, this was almost 4 years ago. Wow, that's crazy. I'm a completely different person. There's going to be a lot of things said in this video that was kind of an eye-opener for me and is kind of the reason why I'm different today. So, back at this time, I was dating this guy who was my first ever very serious relationship. We were in like a brand new relationship. It was like not even quite a month yet, almost a month, like maybe a week away from a month. And on this day, it was me and like 3 other of my friends. We were driving in 2 separate cars. It was me and one of my best friends in the entire world. She was in the car with me, and then my other friend and my other 2 friends, they were in a separate car. So we were leaving my grandparents' house, and we were on our way to go to one of my friends' house. I don't want to say any names. So the way you have to leave my grandparents' neighborhood, there's like this cross intersection, like the shape of a T. And it was very busy. That road gets like extremely busy, especially around like 5 o'clock when people start to get off. So it was a really busy road, busy time for the road. I looked both ways, checked my left, checked my right, because that's what, responsible drivers do. And I, proceeded to drive. Good. My friend, who was driving the other car behind me, didn't quite, want to do that, I guess, this particular time. So they pulled out and they got hit. They got into a car accident. The car T-boned them. And I saw the entire thing in my rearview mirror, and I was like, oh my God, please do not let my friend be dead right now, because that is the last thing that I need. Especially, I witnessed it. So I drive down the road a little bit further, and then I go into the neighborhood that was like right next to the street. And me and my best friend who was in the car with me, we run back to the site, back to where the car accident happened, just to make sure that they're okay. Both of them are okay. And this is the crazy part. He had drugs in the car. There were guns in the car, illegal guns. And of course, when there's a car accident, there's gonna be police who show up, especially a car accident that was this bad. So my friend was like, I have to get rid of these, like, come on, let's walk back to your car so I can hide, all of these illicit objects and substances. So while we were walking back to my car, this random stranger, who I later found out was like a police officer, but he was not in uniform, he wasn't in he didn't even say that he was a police officer. So in my mind, this was just some random stranger who just was trying to be a good citizen or something. So he was like, hey, you guys, stop right there, stop where you are. And my friend, he just like starts to dip and he runs. And this stranger, because he's still a stranger to me, grabs me like like this, like, you know, how a police officer would. And I have like my phone in my hand and he's trying to like take my phone out of my hand, and I'm like, whoa, like who, first of all, who even are you? You can't just do these kind of things. And he was like trying to take my phone. I was like, no, like, let me call my mom. I'm gonna call my mom. I don't know who you are. I need to call my mom. And he was like, you're gonna be able to call your mom in just a moment. I was like, well, let me call them now. So he literally held me. The police showed up like 2 minutes later and he was still holding me, and I was trying to like break free out of this stranger's hand. The police come, don't even ask any type of questions. They just literally just take me from the guy, put me in handcuffs, which that was my first time in handcuffs, and let me tell you, it's just not fun, okay? You don't want to be in handcuffs, and if you have, then you know what I mean. So, of course, I give my phone over to the police officer because I respect real police officers. So I gave my phone over to the police officer, and they handcuff me, take all of my stuff, take everything out of my pockets, put me in the back of the cop car. I'm just crying my eyes out. I'm just freaking out. I'm like, why? I didn't even do anything wrong. I'm literally walking, had nothing in my possession. Like, I'm just walking. So I was in this cop car for like maybe an hour and a half, and they had to like get the drug dogs out and just parole the entire scene, which now I guess technically is more than just a car accident. It's like a crime scene. And the entire time there was like this one police officer who was, I guess, watching me while I was in the back of the car, and he was singing Latch by Sam Smith. Out of all songs, why would you be singing Latch? If you know the lyrics to that song, that's not the song that, you know, you want to listen to while you are in handcuffs in the back of a car. Those lyrics literally say, now I've got you in my space, I won't let go of you. Got you shackled in my embrace, I'm latching onto you. So to that police officer, thank you for just making that such a great experience. So eventually, as time goes by, an hour and a half later, the officer who originally put me in handcuffs took me out and was like, so yeah, here are your charges. You got charged for reckless driving and for possession of marijuana. And I'm like, skirt. First of all, reckless driving. You don't even know where my car is. So how is I driving recklessly when my car is untouched, I'm safe, I'm good? And possession of marijuana, I didn't even touch it. I was walking with my friend who, yes, was in possession, but for me, I was never in any sort of possession at all. One of the friends who was in the other car got pretty badly injured, like bleeding everywhere, crazy. So we had to go, we went to patient first. I know, medical emergency who? Yeah. So we went to patient first, and they were like, yeah, my mom called me, and I was like freaking out. I was like, oh my God, I need to tell my mom this, but I literally cannot tell my mom. Like, I am terrified. I do not know how to even explain what just happened. Like, I just got charged with, you know, I mean, reckless driving is not that much, but like possession of marijuana, like, yeah, that's not gonna go over too well with my mom. So I was crying my eyes out, and my friend who was with me, I was like, you have to tell her. Like, I literally cannot say these words. You have to tell her. So at first I answered the phone. I'm like, hey, like, I have something to tell you. Like, this is, you know, you're gonna be mad at me. And I was like, I am really scared to tell you. So I gave my phone over to my best friend, and you know, she told the whole situation and everything that happened, and my mom was pretty much just like, okay, that's all right, we'll talk later. I go home, get some sleep, and the next morning my mom, you know, comes knocking on my door, and she's like, so Joseph, what happened? And you know, pretty much I tell her the entire story that I just told you, and she was like, yeah, is there anything else that you want to tell me? You know, you and that guy that you've been seeing? And I was like, yeah, that's my boyfriend, you know. And you know, she was okay with it. She, you know, just gave me a hug, and she told me that she loved me, and that's pretty much how I came out. I know it was kind of a lot all at once, but you know, I had to kill two birds with one stone. So had a lot of you know, crazy charges and then being gay, you know, which one's worse? So, you know, that was quite the experience for me. So yeah, for anyone else who's watching this, you know, whether they're gay, bi, trans, any part of that LGBT plus, you know, I hope that your story wasn't like this, or that you don't go through something similar like this. I don't really have like the typical coming out story. Like, I kind of was just, if that day didn't happen, I don't know, I definitely wouldn't have come out that way, you know. It would have been different. So, you know, I hope this helped anyone out there who is going through, you know, discovering who they are, finding themselves, and you know, I'll just see you guys in the next video. Bye.